Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine. I think a couple people are still joining, but my name is Catherine. I'm from SEB Housing, and tonight I'm going to run the lottery for the two affordable townhomes at Townhomes on the Green at Redbrook in Plymouth. So I'll get the lottery underway in just a few minutes. If you have any questions during this session, you can go ahead and type them into the Zoom chat there, or you can just unmute yourself and let me know. Just want to give you some background information first on who applied, and no need to write any of this down because it's going to be in a kind of a lottery summary handout email that's going to be sent to you later on tonight, along with the waiting list for these units. So everyone should already have a lottery application number. In this case, it's in the form of, or it's numbers 1 through 16, but it's in the form of A.001 through A.016. So if you don't have that, let me know, but that is the number that is going to be drawn in the lottery. So there's 2 affordable units. There were 16 completed applications, so there's going to be 16 households in this lottery. Both of these homes are 2 bedrooms. There were 8 applicants that are considered type 2 households. So on your application, you indicated, and we confirmed your household type, either 1 or 2. There's 8 type 2 households in the lottery. There's 8 type 1 households in the lottery. And since these are 2-bedroom townhomes, type 2 households will have priority over the type 1 households on the waiting list. That's because the affordable program is designed so that households, smaller households don't have priority for larger units that they may not actually require. So if you are a type 1 household, you're still going to be on the waiting list. You're just going to be further down the waiting list since you don't have priority for the 2-bedroom homes. I'll be using a website called random.org to complete the drawing. So I will screen share. You'll be able to see the drawing happening. And I'm going to be using a list randomizer function on that website. It just digitally generates an order of the numbers that I put in there. So all of the lottery application numbers will be placed in there. And, we try to do that to be able to keep the drawing as truly random as possible. And it will digitally generate that order for us. And that is the lottery drawing, the randomization of those lottery numbers. You'll be able to see it right away. It'll be on the screen. The order that is generated helps me to sort the results onto the waiting lists. So the waiting lists, or there's just one waiting list in this case, is what determines the order in which households can reserve the townhomes. So what's important to remember from tonight is the order that you're going to see on your screen when I do the lottery drawing. That's not the final order of the waiting list, because I still have to sort the results based off of the household types that I mentioned to you. So for example, if a number is drawn first and that is a type 1 household, they're going to be further down the waiting list behind the type 2 household. So you don't really know during the call tonight where you fall on the waiting list, but I'm going to sort the results tonight. So you will get an email from me later on this evening with the waiting list attached, and you'll be able to see at that point where you fall on the waiting list. So there won't be too much of a delay. When you do get that email, you're going to see that the top households on the waiting list are highlighted in green. That's just our way of indicating to you which households are going to immediately be invited to move forward to the next step in the process, which is submitting your income, your asset, your tax documentation to SEB Housing, so we are able to confirm your eligibility for the affordable housing program. Because remember, up until now, you have submitted your lottery application, but you haven't submitted your verifications of income. So you've only self-reported your income and provided your mortgage pre-approval. On the waiting list, you're going to see that there's 8 application numbers that are highlighted in green. You might wonder, why would 8 people be moving forward if there's only 2 homes? And we do that because we want to make sure the process isn't delayed by us screening only the top 2 households from the waiting list. It's possible that the two top people on the waiting list end up purchasing the homes and qualifying and moving forward. And if that ends up being the case, some people may have been screened and not have had the opportunity to purchase one of the homes. But usually that's not the case. Usually, more than 2 people need to be screened in order to sell 2 homes. So after the lottery, if you're one of the top households to be invited to move forward, you'll have about 10 days to get the income tax documentation into SEB Housing. And there was a documentation requirements guide that was sent to you along with your lottery application number. So you should have an email with either an attachment or a link to the documentation requirements guide. And that document just spells out the supporting documentation that you'll need to submit to us. So hopefully you've been able to gather some of that information already. And so just one final note before I start before I do the drawing. This lottery is an important step in the process, but there are still several other steps that need to happen before purchasing a home. So, like I said, we'll have to verify your income. We need to send your completed file, if you're approved by SEB Housing, needs to be approved by the state agency that oversees this program. And then you have, signing your purchase and sale and your closing and all of that. So there's still a few steps to go, but this lottery is part of the process for the affordable homes. And so I'm going to screen share to do the drawing. Before I do that, does anyone have any questions on anything I just said? All right, so I'm going to screen share. So you're able to see this website that I mentioned, random.org, and I also have everybody's lottery application number to put in there. Share my screen now. So it's a very basic looking website. As you can see, I'm going to scroll down and go to List Randomizer. I'm just going to do a quick sort of example here. This is not the drawing, just for demonstration purposes. I'm going to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I click Randomize, it randomizes the numbers for us. So that's what's going to happen when I do the drawing in just a second, except the lottery numbers are going to be in the form that you're familiar with, A.001 and so forth. So I'm going back to New List Randomizer. I'm going to pull up a Excel list that I have here of everybody's lottery application numbers. So there are 16 numbers here. That's everyone, the 16 applicants for this lottery. All of the numbers are there. I'm going to go back to the List Randomizer, and basically I'm copying and pasting all of those numbers in here. So this is going to be the drawing for the two-bedroom condos at Townhomes on the Green at Redbrook in Plymouth. So I'm going to click Randomize now, and this is a lottery drawing. All right, so I'm going to copy and paste the results here into my spreadsheet, just so it's a little easier for you to read. So just bear with me 1 second. Just save that. Okay, so actually all of these fit on the screen. I'm going to hide that so it doesn't cause confusion. I'm going to make this, well, actually I can't make it any bigger. So these are the results. If you are application number A.016, you were drawn first in the lottery. We don't know if that household is a type 1 or a type 2 household, so it doesn't mean that that person is going to be at the top of the waiting list. So that's what the sorting is going to decide tonight. So I'm going to be looking at who is a type 1, who's a type 2 household, and placing everyone on the waiting list in a position that coincides with their priority. So hopefully you can all see that. If anyone called in that can't see the screen, I can let you know where your number was drawn. You can just drop your lottery application number in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and let me know, and I can tell you where you were drawn. But again, this isn't the waiting list yet. You will get the waiting list later on tonight, and at that point, you'll know if you're one of those top 8 households that will be asked to move forward to the next step in the process, which is submitting your income and asset and tax documentation. Any questions? I'm going to work on sorting these tonight. Like I said, you'll get an email from me. It'll come from info@sebhousing.com. So keep an eye out for that, and it'll have a couple of attachments to the email, one of them being the waiting list.
Hi. I just realized that I don't think I have a lottery number.
Okay,
I don't think I ever received one.
Okay, so if you were approved for this lottery, you should have received one from SCB Housing. It would have been, I think, from info@scbhousing.com as well. So if you could email, I'm going to go into the chat here and just write it so you can see it, but info@scbhousing.com. So send us your info, and I can look that up for you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Will do.
Yep. So I'll look that up, and yeah, I'll check that after the call and let you know if there's a lottery application number for you. And then later on tonight, everyone, including you, will get the results. Any other questions? All right, so keep an eye out. Thanks for joining, and you will have more information later on tonight once the results of this drawing have been sorted onto the waiting list. Have a good night, everybody.